Okay? And so the way basically you have to make sure that your vessel is very dry. Otherwise, it won't stick very well, and then you'll wind up putting all these beautiful things in here, and if it doesn't stick into this, it'll just topple over and everything falls out of the vase. So I basically take this floral putty and I put it all the way around. Carefully. And a lot of students ask me about how to keep my frog from rusting. And the way I do it is basically after I'm done with using my arrangement, once the flowers are finished, I take this out, I rinse it, and then I put it upside down on a paper towel to let it dry. And that usually helps from getting it rusted. Okay, and so I put it in the center of my vessel, and you push it down and you twist it. To make sure that it's well inside the vessel so it doesn't topple. And I just want to make sure, I'm just going to keep twisting it to make sure it's not. Before I put my water in, I just make sure that this is very secure. We need water. Oh, yeah, we have water. And then I go like this and wait a few minutes. And when it's hotter, it doesn't stick as fast. You have to wait. And now it feels like it's ready, so I'll just go ahead and put water in it. And then, of course, you want to start with your heavier elements, your branches. If you have fruits, everything that's heavier, you want to start with that. And the way I like to cut the branches when I'm using a floral frog is you cut them at an angle like this so that it's a little bit sharp. And then I put it in the center and push it down. And then the same with the rest of it. And you have to make sure that you are evenly dispersing your branches on your frog. Which means you're going to put some in the center and some on the side to make sure that it's not too heavy on one side so that it'll flop over. And then I'll continue with the other side here. And so the way I think about making an arrangement is asymmetric. Which means, so asymmetric basically to me means there's going to be a high point, so a higher focal point here, a low focal point down here, and then right here, another focal point. So it's 3 focal points to the arrangement. Here, here, and down here. And so I like the way that this is basically the structure of my arrangement. And I like it. And I'm going to build upon that, keeping in mind my structure. And for my focal point down here, I want to use these raspberries because they droop beautifully outside of my vessel. And when you're putting your branches inside your vessel on the frog, always think, don't put them up like so stiff standing up. You want to make sure that everything is beautifully flowing out. So when you put something inside the pin frog, you just slightly push it down like that. And it's very important to think about different heights of all of the branches and all of the elements inside your vessel. Because if everything is exactly the same height as each other, then you don't have any dimension to your arrangement. And then I just continue on putting my my raspberries and branches wherever I feel like it needs a little bit of a happy touch. And some things will be a little bit shorter because I want them to be sitting right in the middle of everything else. You don't want the raspberries all to be hanging down. It's somehow interesting to have them up here where it's sort of unexpected. And once you've created your structure, then a beautiful structure, then it's easier to build upon that same structure that you created with the flowers. And then I sort of step back to examine what my structure looks like and add things as I need to. And because it's a centerpiece, even though it's not perfectly, symmetric and all the sides look a little bit different, you still want it to look beautiful on all different directions. So that if someone's looking at it from this side, it's beautiful, that side is beautiful, the front, of course, will be beautiful, but all directions are going to have some beauty to look at. And sometimes if your branches don't go inside the frog the right way, take them out and just snip it a little and then try putting it back again. And then I'm going to add a few of these leaves. I love these different colors of foliage because, again, they're unexpected, and when you don't have the same shades and colors, it looks so much more beautiful as the end result, basically. So it seems like it's not a big deal, but in the end, it will be. So I'm just going to keep on filling it all the way around. Most of the time, people don't take foliage seriously, and they think it's just that it acts as a filler, but I don't think that's the case. It adds to the beauty of your arrangement, just like anything else in there, any other major flowers. And sometimes if you can, it will be nice to use the foliage from the flowers or the fruits that you're using. Like, this is a pretty one. Most of the time, the foliage for blackberries is not very pretty and it's burnt and all of that, but this is so pretty, and so why not keep it? This one is too clumpy, so I'm just going to separate it a little bit. And then cut it a little. And as I'm adding more foliage, I'm definitely keeping some space for my focal point over here. I don't know what it'll be, but definitely a beautiful flower that's going to be the star of this arrangement. And then I will take a look at my structure and see if I like what I see, and so far so good. And then I'll continue with some of these beautiful roses that we found at the market. And then I just look and see what looks good in my eye. If it looks good, then it's fine. I'm not going to rethink it. I'm just going to put it there. It's very important to trust your own instincts and your own creative eye. And as you're building your arrangement, remember to step back and look at what you're doing. If you don't step back, you can't see as well as, I mean, you can see it, but when you step back, then it's sort of like a painting. You can see where you need to add some color or where you need to put a flower here and there. It's important to step back for sure. And this right here, I want it to stand up right here and face me. So I'm going to put it in a frog pin perfectly so that I can see it better, so that it could face the people who are looking at it. This way. There's that, like this, right there. Then I'm going to continue with some of the carnations. I love using carnations, even though a lot of times people associate it with cheap flowers, but I think they're really beautiful and their color is just one or two here and there makes a lot of difference. And they have all these different varieties, the heirloom, the antique color carnations nowadays. So I like to embrace that and use it when I can. I also like using garden roses whenever I can because they look so much more like you pick them from the garden, like this one, than if you had those big, serious, like really hard roses. So this is so much more like a garden picked flower than if you had some of those tight roses. I think so much of what we do has to do with the products that we choose, and most of the time people don't think about it. They don't think about, well, yes, it's more expensive, but in the end result is always so much more beautiful than somebody who didn't want to spend a little bit more money. So if you want to stand out a little bit from the rest of the competition, you have to be willing to do what they are not. I'm just going to separate this group a little bit from each other so I can disperse my roses all around the arrangement a little bit more. Like this. Then I want to take one of these beautiful hyacinths, and when I'm doing weddings, most of the time you put the flowers on the table, and at the end of the night they get thrown away. So I would rather use the flowers that are just at the peak of their beauty right before they're thrown away because they look beautiful. And I can't decide if I want it here. I think I like it here better, so I'll use it on this side. A little bit shorter. A little bit shorter. Right there. A few of these alliums in between. I think it's really fun to have different sizes and slightly different shades of flowers because that really adds so much to your overall look. And you just keep on going until you're satisfied with the way it looks. And I get to a point with the frog that I just have to feel where it's going because I can't really see down there anymore. I love using ranunculus whenever I can, and in California it's really easy because they're available almost all year long. Here it was a real luxury to find just very few of these at the flower market. Really? Seriously? I didn't know that. Really? I thought it was just sitting there. I had no idea. Oh my gosh, I feel bad now. And so if you know that the people at your event don't have any allergies, then you can always use flowers that are aromatic also, like the hyacinth and this beautiful jasmine, which I'm totally in love with. Just putting it all around the vase. And different heights. And sometimes I want to make sure that I have some flowers sitting down at the lip of the arrangement, so it's different how you add it, from what direction. So if I want it to be sitting down here, I just slightly put it right there from the very bottom. Take a step back and look at it, and then add as you need. And you don't need a ton, but just a little here and there makes a lot of difference. During these 2 days, you're gonna hear me say a lot of just a little here and there, because that's how I operate. A little bit of something, even though you might not think it will, it makes a lot of difference. To grow, just say it again. Yes, sometimes I do. Like right now, I grouped these two together, the Carnations, and sometimes I want them separated. Like if there is 4 on one stem, too many of them, it could be overpowering. So I'll just, disperse them in the vase. And I'm going to look around for maybe another flower that's of a different size, and it could possibly be one of these peonies. This could be my focal flower. And the space that I was saving, it's still empty here, so I'll add this. Just a little bit more. Like that. Just one. Take one more of these. Sometimes the center can feel a little bit empty, and you just add 1 or 2 flowers, and that takes care of that. And then I'm going to step back again and see what else I need to do. A lot of times people don't like to use carnations or mums, but I saw these mums and I thought those are really cute. And even if I could just use one somewhere, it would be fun to have it. So let's see if I can use it and get away with it. When I picked up these mums, Lisa was like, don't do it. Let's see. Just a little bit shorter. And right there. What do you think? And then And I just sort of go through and examine and see where else I can add a little bit of flower here and there. I still want a little something up here. And I like the droop of this thing, and I have to use it. It's just so pretty. And let's see how I do. A little bit shorter. Right here. And a few of these ones that I had left. And as a last touch, I might use one of these that Lisa brought. So pretty. It's from your garden, right? Yeah. And because I'm using this one now, this is too big, I'm going to cut it. Like that. And then just a few, and I like to do this a lot back at home. I go to the nursery and I just pick up a couple of plants that you cannot find at the flower market, and that adds such a difference to your arrangement. So if you can do that, which we did here today, it's definitely, I recommend it. Sometimes you can find things at the local nursery that you just can't find at the flower market. One more. And I love these ones because the color of their, the front of the leaves and the back of the leaves are a little different. done. I like the way it's wound up, and it's got many different ingredients. Is it falling? Oh no! So now it's your turn. Do you have any questions?
Да, вот тоже вопрос, что полагается, что на месте собирается и все. Ну, я помню, когда была, да. Или вкладочки просто оставляешь там все, то есть, ну, не все, работают, они там уже на месте.
It is. Well, this you have to add more. So this is very full. I like to make it really full because there's so many flowers, and they drink it right away. So before you deliver, like for example, if this was a wedding, I would water these before I go to bed or before I leave my studio. The next day, when I get to the event, of course, once I put everything on the tables, I put water in it again. Yes. Yeah, I have a van, so my van gets very wet, but I don't care.